In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God.
He was with God in the beginning.
Through him all things were made. Without him nothing was made that has been made.
In him was life.
And that life was the light of all mankind.
The light shines in the darkness,
and the darkness has not overcome it.
There was a man sent from God whose name was John.
He came as a witness to testify concerning that light.
He himself was not the light.
He came only as a witness to the light.
The true light that gives light to everyone was coming into the world.
He was in the world, and though the world was made through him,
the world did not recognize him.
He came to that which was his own,
but his own did not receive him.
Yet to all who did receive him, to those who believed in his name,
he gave the right to become children of God.
Children born not of natural descent, nor of human decision, or a husband's will, but born of God.
The Word became flesh and made his dwelling among us. We have seen his glory, the glory of the one and only Son, who came from the Father, full of grace and truth.
Merry Christmas from the Holy Land. I'm standing here at the Sea of Galilee, behind me, the Golan Heights, and behind that, the Decapolis, to wish you and your family the very best Merry Christmas. For the last several days, I've had the opportunity to visit some historic sites, some ancient communities, and some wonderful churches, many of them thousands of years old. Some of them have been adorned with frescoes and mosaics of all kinds, some with gold and silver. Some are revered for centuries. I've watched people of all kinds come from all over the world to come and visit these sites. And I've learned something, I think, over the last several days. There's something about all of us, an insatiable desire to connect with God. There's something about us that wants to know that it's real. I've watched pilgrims of all kinds stand in line for hours just to touch a rock, just to know that maybe Jesus was there. I've watched people go up and put little pieces of paper in a rock, hoping that God would perhaps hear their prayer. I remember the words of Augustine, the 3rd century bishop, once said, "You have made us for yourself, O God, and our hearts are restless until they rest in thee." Now, some people would believe that if you live a good life and you keep your nose clean, you work hard, you make money, and you do good, that someday, somewhere along the line, you might just get into heaven. Christianity tells us a different story. It tells us that if you keep your nose clean, you do good, you work hard, and you behave yourself, you have no chance of getting into heaven. And so God does what we can't do for ourselves. In John chapter 1, it tells us that the Word became flesh and dwelt among us, full of grace and truth. And we beheld its glory. Glory is the only Son from the Father. Now, some of you might be wondering, why would God do something so bizarre, so weird, in fact, that the sovereign God, the creator of the universe, would put on human flesh and come to us? I'm reminded of the words of a famous Russian philosopher who once said, "We do some strange things for love. For God so loved the world that he gave his Son." And so we've gathered today to remember the love that God has for us. Emmanuel has come. God's love has been poured into our lives. We have come to remember that Christmas is more than just a day of exchanging presents. It's a day of remembering that the story is real, that it has come to us, not just here in the Holy Land, here in Israel, but it's come to you and me in West Virginia, in America, and now around the world. And so today we celebrate that Emmanuel is with us. I'm reminded of the last words that John Wesley spoke on his dying bed. The best of all is, God is with us. Emmanuel has come. So friends, from all of us to all of you, a very best Merry Christmas. Emmanuel, for God is with us.